Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Midday Market Report closing bell. I don't have an intro for the closing bell there, Mr. JB at Vegas Scoreboard Express. Yes, a free plug. Hint, hint, hint. But I am super stoked to have my co-host, the one that took the bull by the horns last week and ran the show, Mr. Riley Magnuson, Southside Riley, as we like to call him. As we get ready for the closing bell, our thoughts on the NFL tonight, the NBA, the NHL board right now that looks like Braille to me. I've been looking at this thing for 8-9 hours this afternoon and this morning, still having a hard time figuring it out. College basketball, 2-2 yesterday. We come through with a nice squeaker. In college hoops, it wasn't easy, put it that way. We had to sweat out a couple free throws, but again, the public trendy dog, we went on the other side and we sneak in through the back door there. Had a nice plus 125 on the Penguins team total over 3.5 and the empty netter late. They got 3 late in the second and get the empty netter to get us there. And then we were woof on 2 other plays, but 2-2 anyways. We're still tracing 2 units this week. Just looking up here, Carolina last night at Florida. Thanks for playing. We had San Diego -3 against Florida Gulf Coast, which everyone was on. Penn's team total. And Vancouver team total over 3.5 against Montreal. Back-to-back games, Montreal got us, so we're done with them for a while. But let's bring him in, the one and only Mr. Southside Riley himself. What is up there, brother?
What is up, my friend? Good to see you. Missed you a couple days, or missed you yesterday on your birthday, so happy late birthday. I told you off air, happy late birthday. I was watching your show with Andrew yesterday. So great to see you guys on the screen as always once again. But I'm ready to rock, my friend. I know we've got a busy afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow, but I'm ready to rock and roll wherever you'd like. I think we've got a few NBA games that we can spend some time on. Obviously the NFL game, the game of the year in the NFL, of course, Panthers and Falcons, of course. But and then maybe some college basketball. Big slate of college basketball. I don't know as far as top 25 teams. How many teams are in action, but I know a lot of teams are in action, so big slate. So I'm ready to rock and roll wherever you'd like to, my friend.
Well, we started behind the desks and the scenes. Guys, the new Twitter, I'm just going to say this, is garbage right now. You want to go get a blue check mark, go get it. You want to change your title. You want to put someone else's face there. The Woj bomb where the Nets have released Kyrie Irving. And then once you click and you see the guy has 248 followers instead of 3 million, is a farce. So just be careful if you're following certain people before you retweet and you go postal. Just double check. I had to double check. The Raiders are now in the tank mode. Yes. Waller, after sitting out for 5-6 weeks, now on the IR. Hunter Renfrow follows suit. He is now, so they're out for another 4 games each. Someone then, Martinez, retires. So they're facing the Indianapolis Colts this weekend, who their coach, Jeff Saturday, has never coached a high school game, never mind a college game. So if Mr. 617, now 702, Josh McDaniel loses this game, people are talking about his walking papers. What do you think?
I think that's a fair assessment for sure. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are in new situations that have probably a little longer leash, but that one, I mean, the one he inherited, you get, after the dumpster fire that went on last year, and your special team, the current special teams coordinator for the Packers, is able to right the ship and get them into the playoffs last year, Rich Bisaccia, and now you're coming in as the offensive guru with Davante Adams, and it's what 2-6, I don't even know what it is at this point right now. So yeah, losing to what some believe is a circus in Indianapolis, whether it's the team or the coaching situation. Yeah, I would not be shocked if that's the final stamp of firing there for Earl McDaniels. But yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. Is that what you expect, or do you think they'll figure a way to save his job for at least one more day?
I think Josh will be already talking as we speak right now, saying, guys, hey, if we're going to full tank mode and we're going to get in the Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, I'm your guy. Look what I did with Tom. So if this is the route that we're going, I'll take the brunt of it. Okay, I'll take it, but you just can't fire me here. If this is the direction we're going to go, Carr's not obviously my guy. We brought Adams over, but we have an opportunity maybe to get into that Stroud and Bryce Young where I can turn them around instantaneously. Let's go that direction.
Sure. And then I guess as far as the Colts situation, I don't know if either of us can speculate with confidence that we know what's going to happen, but do you feel like this is going to be a rah-rah situation, what Jeff Saturday said, as far as I'm not backing down? Or do you think they're rolling their eyes and they're going to lay a stinker on the road in Vegas? Which would you feel more confident in? Rah, here we go, let's win, let's get this thing going with some energy, or let's mail it in, this is a joke?
I think Taylor's practicing, and their Raiders defense is Swiss cheese against the run. Mm-hmm. Okay? Now, granted, they don't have a quarterback with Ellinger here. If you look what Tennessee's got the next 4 or 5 games, this 3-win Colts team, it's almost like, remember that last game of the year, the Chargers versus the Raiders, where if they both tied, they both were in. Yep. It's like, who wants to really win this game here? Because one of them will, if Indy wins, they'll have 4 losses. So they'll also have the tiebreaker against the Raiders if they decided to tank themselves. So it's kind of, I call it the chicken and the egg. Who blinks first here?
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I won't be wagering my money on that game as far as that's my biggest stay away for, both situations going on there. And not to mention Jonathan Abram, released by the Raiders, picked up by my pack. So, obviously wasn't working out for him there. And now, we'll see what happens with him and the Packers. But, with the optimism level is pretty stagnant here, or at least going down. I'm looking at Christian Watson for the Packers, no longer on the injury report. So if he can stay healthy, that'll help with all the injuries we've got. But I don't want to talk about the Packers. I don't know. As far as tonight's game, you and I were talking about it. You said, and I've heard it as well. I've heard the word monsoon, like you said, a few times. And I'm curious why, if that's the case, why the total is only at 41.5. Is this maybe more overplayed? And I'll give you my skepticism as far as maybe that's being overplayed. Kevin Roth at Kevin Roth WX on Twitter, basically sports betting, fantasy sports weather meteorologist. Someone asked him about the weather or the under in tonight's game. Is this going to be a similar impact to last week's college football slate in the Midwest and Great Lakes? And he said, tonight's Thursday Night Football weather is not even close to the kind of impact we saw last week in college football. I'm okay with an under here, but it is not, can't move the ball weather. It could be, could see a few weather-related miscues weather. So do you think that's holding anything? Maybe this is overplayed as a monsoon. You got some stinky teams, and everyone's going to be wanting to flood to the under. I mean, 41.5. I don't know about you, but any weather, nasty weather, 10-6, 9-6, whatever weather game. I don't know the last time I've seen a total heading into that where it's going to be that type of weather over 40. Have you?
No, and it's funny. It's a Thursday night game with 2 bad teams. Yeah. Okay. And now you add, earlier in the week, they were talking, tropical storm, 2 inches of rain. The actual opening number at Chris was 43. It's down to 41.5. You usually see this at that 38 number, 37.5. Yeah. It hasn't done that. I think the general public and the D-gens would flock right to the under. PJ Walker, who couldn't move the ball against a flag football team. Couldn't do anything last week. They bring in the backup, and he gets a couple touchdowns, yet he's starting again. So I don't want to say Tankapalooza. I mean, the Falcons have played well this year.
Yeah.
And this Carolina team's already fired their coach, CMC now at the 49ers. I'll go on record here. I think there's going to be some points tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you look. What is it? 2 weeks ago. That's the thing. I agree with you. If I'm going anywhere, I think I'm not going to that under is way too good to be true. But at the same time, could I see these two teams put up a 14-17 game in a dome in perfect temperatures? I could see that, but the way the narratives are going and 41.5, that one is. I'm with you. And you look at Carolina. For a while, they had some scrappy play defensively. Certain games where 21-3 Tampa. Even 10-24 against the Rams. Okay, defense these last 2 weeks, 37 in the dome against Atlanta, and then last week against, I guess, granted it's a hot Joe Burrow right now, but 42 points. This defense is crumbling right now. So I don't know. I think we're on the same page. I'm not so sold on I love my weather unders. Don't get me wrong. So I had to do my due diligence here. I love to get in on these weather unders, but I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be the case at least to that level.
No, and I haven't done a Thursday night game in a while. I haven't even bothered to go to Amazon. I'll follow it on my phone. I'll follow it on a couple of the big screens or whatever. But I'm not running to the window or I'm not going to tell anyone here, hey, go take the Falcons money line or go get your 2.5 by the hook and get Carolina +3. I'm not taking a side on either side. I'm going to stay far, far away from this. And if you ask me if I had to make one play tonight, I'd probably say, hey, try to get over 41. Go over 41 and just enjoy it because I have no stake in this matter.
Yeah, I'm with you. The other angle on this one, or at least prop-wise, that I wanted to mention, because I like to look at these props because I'm a troubled fantasy owner. I'm having a good fantasy season, but a troubled Kyle Pitts fantasy owner this season. And a lot of times his prop pricing and, yardage totals are kind of indicative. I was hoping to see a +160 touchdown prop or something like that. I'm seeing 3-1 as far as his touchdown props and like 30 in the 30s for his yardage total. Let me double check on that one. 35.5 right now. And I was optimistic because 2 weeks ago his best game in this year, or one of his two best games of the years, was in that game against Carolina. But I don't know. Is this? Obviously I have my answer as far as the way these are set up. I'm not going to the overs or taking his touchdown props, but anyway, that's mind games, or is this a definite? He's going to be a 3 catches for 18 yards type of day for him.
No, because that was it. He had 9 targets, 8 catches, and a touch.
5.
Yeah. So usually the sequel doesn't match the first movie.
Yeah.
So who's it going to be on that side there? I'm seeing a lot of people taking the Cordarrelle Patterson over. What's his anytime touchdown? I would have to say that's short.
Yeah, on at least on this book, FanDuel -105.
Yeah. So that's the chalk tonight. So if you want to eat a chalk sandwich, go play Cordarrelle anytime touchdown there. On the other side, I'm drawing blanks.
Well, the tough one with them, if it was one specific running back, I'd feel good about it. But you got Foreman and Hubbard over there. Hubbard's back tonight, and it's Foreman +130, Hubbard 170. So, I kind of like the idea of maybe the odds aren't indicative of who's going to have the higher role. Maybe Hubbard's going to have a better role, and that's the play to make. But I'm not confident. You'll have egg on your face if you bet one of them and the other one scores, So, yeah, that's where I'm at tonight. And DraftKings for Patterson, by the way, is +100.
And what about wide receivers or tight end on the Panthers side?
Let's see. DJ Moore +155. That's probably going to be, one of the favorite picks for, anyone that's interested in the Panthers, right? Let's see. I'm seeing a lot of Falcons guys here. Terrence Marshall, 310. Tommy Tremble, 390. That's at least an interesting one who, kind of a fun player that maybe you bet on his role increasing. I don't know. But, I don't know. I'd feel confident maybe maybe you take a swing if you're taking a swing at those Carolina running backs. Maybe you put the same amount on both of them, and if one of them scores, you make some profit. I guess that's what I would do in this one.
On the Carolina side, I know Marshall scored last week. I think that's the sexy play. I like where you were on the +390. I'm going with Mr. Tremble, turn up the treble and the bass, and we're going to get into this end zone there. How's that?
I like it. So honestly, last question though, because that those Kyle Pitts numbers scare me to high heaven, and I'm doing well, and I've second most points in my league right now. I've got an option of Kyle Pitts and Evan Ingram. The last time I sat Kyle Pitts, I think he ended up having a nice night, and I had egg on my face. But do I go to Evan Ingram with the way these props are set right now for my fantasy lineup today? Evan Ingram's obviously not playing until Sunday, but do I make that jump right now, or do I ride with Pitts?
Well, I looked at one of my rosters because on my Ingram team was Darren Waller, and I wasn't playing him anyways. I've been playing Ingram. I saw a question mark. I know he's going to play, or I'm assuming he's going to play.
Yeah.
Here's what I was taught a million years ago. You play your studs. You play your studs. The only time you didn't play your studs is when Revis Island, you were going up against Revis Island. Then you had to think about it. As much as the props are scaring us, you don't, and I don't run to the window on Thursday nights. I got a Dunta Foreman team, but I got him with Kamara, CMC, and Miles Sanders. So he can't crack that lineup. But when you got a Kyle Pitts, who's a generational talent, and they're scaring you, you don't want the egg in the face. You just got to roll them out.
I think so, and it's not like, I think last time I was trying to make a splash because, you had Hot Joe. My other option was Hayden Hurst, and it was Hot Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase went down, so I'm thinking, all right, Hayden Hurst might have some, bump in targets, and it was a big matchup. I need to have some points, so I'm at least trying to go, boom or bust here. Not as much of the case this week, so no, I like the advice there. I'm going to stick with it there. So, NBA, would you like to go to the NBA next?
Absolutely.
All right, 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. Only one of them really, really interests me enough to maybe make a play, but it's a team that's kind of dry, not really convinced me well enough. We'll get to that one in a second. Dallas and Washington, Dallas -5 on the road. I think Bradley Beal and Kristaps Porzingis are still questionable. I see Bradley Beal listed as out, but I was doing some Googling, and it looked like, maybe that's not as certain. Sometimes a guy that's been out for a week will, 2 hours before game time end up playing. So, and then Kristaps obviously questionable. So I'm staying away from it. I was on Orlando last night as one of my plays in the NBA, and Orlando ended up winning outright as 9.5-point dogs. I don't know, anything out of this one, or are you just, the injuries keeping you far away from it?
As we were speaking, I looked at, not to jump on you, but I know everyone was on Dallas because no one was playing. They lose now. You got a back-to-back. I would lean Wizards.
I think the +5 kind of indicates that at least one of those two guys, if not both of them, are playing, right? Maybe you feel better. Maybe you'd probably like Beal to be playing more than you'd like Porzingis to be playing. But I don't know. If it was, the 5 kind of screams to me that at least one of those dudes is playing.
I got Beal out, Wood out, and Porzingis questionable. It went from a 3.5 now to just 5.
Okay.
Hey, they didn't do it yesterday. I'll take my swing with the Wizards +5 there.
Okay, I like it. The other one that was kind of, as you like to say, kind of felt like a statement to me was the Heat -10.5. But, big fat but. On one hand, you do have Charlotte lose. They're losing their butts off right now. At least 5 in a row. All I see in front of me, a lot of single-digit numbers. But the Heat 4-7. This is a statement, if I do say so myself. But I've had egg on my face when some of these, a few of these statement type lines, where it's just a team that hasn't really lived up to what they're supposed to be or hasn't quite looked like themselves. And this Heat team is one of them. So for me, it's a Heat or nothing spot for me. But I'm a little hesitant that the same Heat team that's been showing up here for the last couple of weeks is going to show up again. But it does at least give me some confidence. I mean, the Hornets are playing some rough basketball right now. That was the trick that got me. It was a Russell Westbrook to the Hornets was the fake Twitter thing that got me, and it was a giant whoa, and then I saw that line. But anyways, that's not happening. But I don't know. Are you confident in the Heat, or are you with me as far as holding out some skepticism that this Heat team has got something wrong with them still?
I saw that number, and I'm holding out with the skepticism. I'm looking at the info as we speak for Charlotte. Ball, Hayward, Martin, all questionable. Hero questionable. Now, I don't think they need Hero tonight, to be honest with you. He doesn't need to be a hero, no pun intended
Yeah.
there, to play tonight. I think for the Heat to win. I think the Heat win. I'm petrified of a double digit. Now it's up to 11. I'm staying away.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of these, I've had a lot more success with the underdogs as a statement type line as opposed to the favorites. Boston took care of business against the Pistons at home last night. That was a statement, 12.5 or whatever it was. But, Boston is playing like themselves for the most part. They're 8-4 or something like that. This Heat team offensively just hasn't been there. So, I'm definitely not going to the Hornets. But, the Heat are still leaving me holding out hope for something more out of that offense right now. The other two games, Philly and Atlanta, which I didn't have strong thoughts on this one. Obviously, Philly is 5-6. They've been all over the place. I don't know if you've got any money splits on this one, but Atlanta 7-4. They've been probably the clear fourth best team out of the East so far this season. So I don't know. Was this one talking to you in any way, or is this you're not really sure about this one?
The last two games were really talking to me, and the second game we'll talk about in a second. I'm a little PO'd right now. I'll tell you why after. I thought this was a Philly number the whole time. I thought that Atlanta should be a bigger favorite. I'm actually seeing Philly now -1 on DraftKings. This was a 76ers player, nothing for me here.
Okay. No, I think I'm with you there. You look back the last couple of years, Philly's had decent success here. And was it last night? I think, last night Atlanta coming off of a back-to-back. Philly getting a couple days rest. So, I expect them to be a lot better going forward. They've been a little weird when Embiid's been in the lineup, but I feel decent that they're going to look a lot better going forward here. So,
and you got
the other. Go ahead.
You got Harden out, and I got Bogdanovic out on the other side. But Harden's out, and Atlanta only opened up a 1.5 point favorite. So, it's a Philly number to me.
Yeah. Okay. Then the last one here, Portland and the Pelicans. The Blazers 8-3 on the road. Looks like they've got some guys out though tonight. Whereas the Pelicans were in Chicago last night. Larry Nance was out last night. Not sure if he's in the lineup or not tonight, but they're at home. The Pelicans. Were you feeling strong about the Pelicans in this one with this type of statement? Or is it? I think those injuries are correct as far as no Damian Lillard. For the Blazers. I think that obviously that's the most key one there. But, feeling good about the Pelicans here tonight?
It was, for me, I thought it was a statement from Claire. It was 6.5, 7, and then it was 8. I'm like, they're looking for Blazer money. They got it. Now Lillard's out. And then Sharp and Winslow are probable. Grant and Nurkic are questionable. The line has shot to 9. I'm going to stay away. It was a Pelicans play all day for me. And then I wanted Lillard in there. I'm like, leave him in there. I'm still going to give you the 7.5, 8. I did this against Golden State a couple Thursdays ago, and Portland won outright. So I was getting my revenge tonight. I'm staying away now.
Yeah, this Portland team is interesting. I talked. Obviously, they're a lot better when Damian Lillard is there, but they've got scorers now that if you're not giving them enough respect, they'll pop off and score 20 or 30 points on you before you know it. So I'm with you. It definitely. Portland also won a back-to-back. They were in Charlotte, now heading to New Orleans. New Orleans at least gets to head home for the back-to-back. So I'm with you. It was definitely a statement. Brandon Ingram kind of really, really got going last night against my Bulls in the fourth quarter to put us away. You might expect him to have a nice night here rolling into night 2. So I'm with you on that one. That one was another one that I was interested in. But this Portland team has been fun. I'm staying away from it. I had the season win total for the Blazers, so that's going well for me so far. But nonetheless, that's it for NBA. Anything out of I didn't have anything for college football. The 2 games tonight, those 2 conferences are my kryptonite in college football. But college basketball, I at least had a couple to throw at you if you still got a second here.
Yeah, on the college football, I think what's kind of stuck out to me was Memphis opening at 6, moving to 7. This Tulsa team has actually won us some money this year, but I think it's a statement there. So for me, currently at this point, it would be Memphis or nothing. And the other thing that kind of caught my eye was Georgia Southern team total at 28 and a hook, and UL Lafayette at 32 and a hook. Now, the 32 and a hook has been go numbers for us, but it has not been well on Thursdays, so I'm staying away there. anyone watching and listening, I would take a look at the Georgia Southern team total over 28.5 there.
Okay. I can get behind that one. Like I said, I have, for whatever reason, I mean, maybe it's my neck of the woods, but I have a lot more success with Mac, and then these the Sun Belt, at least conference Sun Belt games, just I can't call them for whatever reason, so I try to stay away from them. College basketball slate had a couple I wanted to throw at you though. Well, I at least got to mention. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it, but Illinois State, my Illinois State Redbirds at Eastern Illinois, 10-point spread. They just failed. They lost as 9.5 10-point favorites. All I know is Eastern Illinois is bottom 10 out of 358 teams, at least last I checked on KenPom, and they were horrendous last year. So it's going to be a sad night if my boys don't take care of business in my home against my girlfriend's alma mater in Eastern Illinois. But you know what? We'll hold out hope that they can at least get the win in that one there.
I'll tell you, KenPom's got Illinois State 71-64, so he doesn't have them at a cover.
They gave Eastern just played U of I. I was the night I went with my brother, who was an alma mater of U of I, Illinois, and Illinois was playing Eastern, and he was kind of poo-poo, and it was close game in the first half or something like that against Eastern Illinois. So maybe they've got some scrappiness to them this year. Who knows? But the two that I actually wanted to bring up to you. The number 5 ranked Kansas, minus 24, I think it was 24.5, 20 minutes ago before we started. Now 23.5, 24 against North Dakota State. Is that a little, is that fair, or is that, am I thinking that might be a little too good to be true for the number 5 Kansas Jayhawks, defending champs here?
I was watching Kevin Walsh and Donnie Rightside on Sports Grid today, and he was talking about that game. Bill Self taking that, 5 or 6 games self-imposed, not coaching. And so he talked about the number looking low. He talked about a first half play there, knowing that he'd get the full squad for the first 20 minutes, and he took that approach on that game.
Okay. Yeah, it was at least, the number 5 team in the country. North Dakota State, people know them from football, not as much for basketball. I think they're a scrappy basketball team to my knowledge. So it was at least one that I wanted to mention to see if you had any thoughts on that one. The other one, Oklahoma State, a single-digit 8.5-point favorite against Southern Illinois. Was that one that tripped your trigger at all?
It smelled to holy heaven to me. Something was up here. KenPom's got him 73-64. He's got Okie State at 34. He's got Southern Illinois at 84. And I was doing some due diligence because UConn plays tomorrow against BU. And the reason why I'm coinciding it is that UConn plays Okie State this year on December 1st. And he's got UConn winning by 5. So he's got it at a home game, too. I thought that might be a neutral. I'm going to have to take a look at that because if they're playing at UConn, I might have to make that trip for that game. So I was trying to coincide the numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's a dog play. I that's what I think it is. I think it's a dog play there.
I mean, the single digits at least jumped out to me. The Salukis, the bottom of my state here. I've got a few friends that are alumni there, so that one was a one. I mean, single digit spread for a mid-major team that they've had some success in the past, but it's not like your Wichita State run in the NBC or anything like that, where it's a national brand at this point. You know what I mean? So definitely screamed to me. Anything else that you saw? I was trying to look up. Indiana's playing Bethune Cookman. I was trying to see what the SWAC has done so far this year. A team conference that I've enjoyed betting mid-major, but it is a very, very, very low level of basketball for the most part, at least the last couple of years. But anything else that you had to mention for the college basketball slate?
Yeah, I'm going to close with this one. We had on Tuesday, we had the flip of the night. We had Sacred Heart -6 against Hartford. We needed 2 late free throws to have that one land on 7. Yesterday, the public trendy dog was Florida Gulf Coast, and we took San Diego -3. We bought the hook, and I think that landed on 5 or 7. I'll just give everyone here watching and listening, the public trendy dog today is UVM. They are playing St. Mary's. And it's a late game, so you can do all your NBA, NHL, and NFL. And then if you go and shop around, I'm just going to get the number right now. I got it at 7.5. St. Mary's minus 7.5 against UVM. I do see some 8s out there, so buy it now. I know a lot of social media gambling, Twitter. They're all talking about UVM. Hey, listen, great story. They beat the shit out of the East teams. They're good, okay? Yeah. But I think St. Mary's gets it by double digits tonight.
One of those ones where they've been the talk of the town the last year or two, Vermont, and maybe, like you said, they're probably still good for their conference, right? But not the type of – yeah, I could see it from – I like it. I wasn't on my radar, but I definitely see what you're talking about with that one. And, I see 8.5 on the some of the public books over here. So
yeah, so get in there. 8's fine, guys. Like I says, I got them at 7.5. If you want to buy the hook, so 8's a winner. God bless you there. But that would be my other college play of the day. I like the Sixers in the NBA. I'm trying to figure out some NHL totals. Take a look at the Georgia Southern. I think it was team total over 28.5.
Sure. All righty. I think that's about all I've got. I've been tiptoeing lightly in college basketball so far, so I'm sure we'll have some more heading into the weekend here, some more talk. And I don't know what the Big Ten basketball slate is. I assume it's not. Maybe we'll have a chance to talk about it a little bit tomorrow, but it's not like they have any marquee matchups or anything like that. At least as far as I'm aware of. Actually, I got to put my foot in my mouth. Michigan State Gonzaga is tomorrow, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. That's a good game tomorrow. Goodness.
So tomorrow morning, 11 my time, 10 yours. Is that correct, or is it 10 my time, 9 yours?
Whatever. We've been doing like 10:30 my time, but
okay.
I'll be ready either way there.
So no, we've been doing 10:30 my time or 11:30 my time.
11:30 your time is what we've been doing for the most part, I think, or maybe I'm a little wrong. I don't know. But either way, I'll be ready either way.
All right. So we get the Big Ten preview tomorrow, sometime in the morning. And in the afternoon, we're going to do a closing bell, and we'll have Lucky's locks and bagels. And in the afternoon, we'll get everyone ready for that. Saturday morning, Scotty will be here. We'll do some football. At 12:30, we got Zaid Hussein for the UFC. And then Sunday morning, you and I will do something, if available, on the college. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me. I will be ready on Sunday.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back at it bright and early tomorrow. Behave yourself. Take it easy there. Pick and choose wisely, and we'll see you on Friday.